Seventh-day Adventist Church, beloved within the Seventh-day Adventist Church, beloved within the Seventh-day Adventist Church. This is a very urgent message, urgent message called The Close of Probation for the Adventist Church. The Close of Probation for the Adventist Church, Part 4. Now, here recently, as I mentioned before, the last couple of sermons about this topic, Arthur Branner and David Gates preached that the close probation for the Adventist Church would be toward the end of April, when the Seventh-day Adventist leadership convened together at the General Conference spring annual council to discipline the North American division and other divisions who want to continue to ordain women as pastors outside of the General Conference mandate. And also that something would happen before that time. Something has already happened, as we see the blood moon has happened in Florida. And then, so we're looking for national emergency, we're looking for martial law, and we're looking for climate change legislation, the Green New Deal, which is the sun's law to the back burner, a law for the environment. And here recently, beloved in the Adventist Church, even Howard Merrick came out in his message stating that national emergency could bring on the sun's law through the back burner when it's signed to enforce climate change legislation and martial law. Now, beloved in the Adventist Church, we see that women's ordination is on a rampage. Women's ordination is trying to be passed in North American division outside of General Conference vote. We see immodest dress, women wearing pants, jeans, women wearing makeup and jewelry, women dancing in church and eating meat products and flesh and dairy, with men doing it as well. Watching movies in these churches for entertainment, worldly movies and all kind of world entertainment. All these things, beloved, are the sins of the church in these last days. And Sister White warns us against these in these last days. She tells us clearly not to be involved in these things. And this is the close of probation for the Adventist Church. This is what will be produced in our churches, beloved in the Adventist Church, as an overwhelming surprise of immorality right before the close of human probation. Sister White mentioned that the worldly music will come into the church, dancing will come into the church right before the close of human probation. And it's happening, beloved in the Adventist Church. And we need to be afraid of it. We do not need to be a part of this new movement that is amongst us, beloved in the Adventist Church. Contemplative prayer, new linguistic programming, spiritual formation, the One Project. All these things are happening to bind God's faithful ministers who sign, cry against abominations, and preach the second angel's message of coming out of Babylon. I'm preaching the message of coming out of Babylon, that Babylon is fallen. But beloved in the Adventist Church, after they vote in April and they decide, if the North American Division decides to continue to ordain women as pastors outside of General Conference mandate, it'll be folly to continue to support the North American Division with your tithe and offering if you're a member of a local congregation within North American Division to your local church, because you be committing the same sin of Achan and Ananias and Sapphira and of Uzzah touching the ark, and you'll drop dead and go to hell. And even if you don't drop dead immediately, you will go to hell in the wake up in the second resurrection in that last hour and receive the 7 last plagues. So, beloved, now's the time to give a straight testimony. Now's the time to not be deceived. Now's the time to not give in to apostasy. Now, beloved in the Adventist Church, when national emergency is signed, the President Trump will not need Congress to pass climate change legislation. It will be unilateral action of the Emergency Powers Act, or of the broad sweep of power that the Supreme Court and Congress gives to the president in times of emergency to act and enact laws. He acts more like a dictator, like a monarch in that situation, beloved in the Adventist Church. We see how the Johnson Amendment is being repealed, how church and state is being united, how the church is controlling the state, with the evangelicals trying to control the state. We see how the gun rights are being taken away. Gun rights are going to be taken away from the Seventh-day Adventist Church, beloved. Not so much in the world, but from Seventh-day Adventists. We see how climate change legislation is going to be passed very soon, which is really the sun's law through the back burner, laws for the environment. We see how Jerusalem is not Israel's capital, and how Satan impersonating Christ come over to modern Israel and say that Sabbath has been changed to Sunday with his imps and have dead loved ones coming and saying that Sabbath has been changed to Sunday with the Adventist church. All these things lets us know that probation is getting ready to close, beloved in the Adventist church. Now the time for us to get ready, beloved in the Adventist church. And so probation closes first for the church before it closes for the world. So the Judge of the Living already happened September 23rd, 2015, when the Pope came to America and asked for climate change legislation, which was sent off to the back burner. That's the first 2.5 years. We are now in the second 3.5 years of persecution, national emergency, martial law, and climate change legislation, which is sent off to the back burner. Now is the time for us to get ready with the Adventist church. Now is the time to be true and faithful in these last days with the Adventist church. Do not listen to Mark Finley and even my friend Ted Wilson, who says that there's no sons off to the back burner, or many faithful ministers who say that may not happen for 20, 30, 40 to 100 years, and try to bring this prophecy off and put people to sleep. 1 Thessalonians 5:3 says that when they shall cry peace and safety unto you, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as a woman in travail, and they shall not escape, beloved in the Adventist church. Do not listen to the naysayers. Listen to those who believe in the Bible and the Spirit prophecy. Listen to those who are sounding the cry of getting ready for these last days. Listen to those who are giving a straight testimony and saying, give up worldliness, give up immorality, give up dancing, give up movie watching, give up meat eating and dairy, do missionary work. Listen to those who preach a straight truth and who preach the probation closing for the church first before it closes the world. Yes, the judgment of the living happens to the world after the sons of law. Yes, probation closes for the world after the sons of law. But for the church, it closes right now in end of April. And for the ministers, it's already closed March 10th. Those ministers who are down for women's donation, those ministers who are endorsing new theology, those ministers are saying that we can't overcome sin, those ministers are saying that there's no sanctuary up in heaven, those ministers like that, like Desmond Ford, who just died March 10th. I think it was a sign that God was fulfilling prophecy when Desmond Ford died March 10th, 2019. He was the first minister who brought in all the apostles into the church recently and said there's no sanctuary up in heaven back in 1980s, a Glacier View. That was a sign that prophecy was being fulfilled, beloved in the Adventist church. The very fact that Desmond Ford is dead and died on that date, beloved. Be faithful to God. Do not give into apostasy. And we need more faithful ministers that are dropping off the scene like C.D. Brooks and Colin Stannis and Russell Stannis. These are faithful ministers. We need ministers that pop up now and give the straight testimony, face of apostasy. Mary Arthur, God bless you.